So guys, welcome and thank you for taking your time. I hope you are here deliberately because the topic is about creativity. And I would like to use the next roughly 10 minutes to talk about creativity, but better to say the future. So you're all here to look into the future about this beautiful technology we all offer here, not just Siemens, but all the other companies. But the question is always, you can see some new technology here, but how did we come up with that technology? So how do we, as Siemens, develop all that, or you guys as well? And the answer in the end is always, it starts with an idea of someone. And then that evolves as this beautiful technology you can see on SPS today and the following days. But it always starts in your head, actually. And that's just always my first question when I talk to people. Have you ever wondered or questioned yourself, how do you come up with ideas up there in your head? Have you ever asked yourself that? Have you ever thought about how can you become better in coming up with ideas in your head, or like developing those ideas forward in a group with people, in a team, and then develop those beautiful new technologies that help us to improve our lives? Have you ever done that? Yes? No? Yes. My colleagues keep nodding. That's a good sign that they have listened to what I'm saying. Anyways, so I guess a lot of people, and that's usually the response I get, usually people don't think a lot about how can we be creative. And a lot of people probably also say, hey, creativity, isn't that something about drawing or singing? That's not relevant for us engineers, right? And I'm actually also an engineer, by the way. But it's really, really relevant. And if you look into different studies from World Economic Forum or from IBM, also older ones, most people, or most of those studies actually show that creativity is one of the most important abilities for today, but especially for tomorrow. Because we can automate more and more stuff, actually, with AI and all that. But what lies with us that probably an AI cannot do today, and probably also not tomorrow, probably in the far future. But that's still unique for us humans, and that's like the beautiful human ability, creativity, actually, and developing new ideas. So as Siemens is now starting this journey and trying to help the people and teams inside of Siemens to discover their full creative potential, actually, to become even better when it comes to innovation. And when we talk about innovation, we need to understand, and I came across this statistic here, or this insight, and that actually says that today we're doing innovation, right? But the world is getting more and more complex. And if we want to have the same outcome of our innovation endeavor and effort we put in, we need actually to double our invest every 13 years to have the same innovation result, actually. And that is due to the fact that it's getting more and more complex, right, as I already said. So it's somehow getting even more complex. And I think you heard already the presentation by Uwe and Karina, and they also presented you the perspective of innovation, I guess, and it's already very complex, and you're all familiar with that. Innovation is probably one of the hardest things to do inside of an organization. So it's getting even more complex. And that's probably also one important reason why we should dive deeper into the understanding of creativity. And how can we enable our people to do that? And now you might say, hey, that's pretty new for Siemens. I'm only working for Siemens for 2 years now. I'm coming from research. So what I did was a lot of research in psychology, neuroscience, and how that creativity as a human ability works. But actually, creativity is already in our DNA for 175 years of Siemens. What I want to tell you is that our founder, Werner von Siemens, who founded this company 175 years back in time, was already a creative guy. And a lot of people think that creativity is given by birth. So you're either born creative or you're born uncreative. And that is, I'm sorry for that, bullshit. right? We're all creative. It's just a matter of fact, how often do you train that? Because you can see creativity as a muscle, actually. Like, if you go to the gym, you train your muscle, it grows, you can get stronger. If you don't do that, unfortunately, you don't get better, you don't get stronger. And the same applies for our human ability, creativity. And we need to train that and understand it better. And I would like to give you a little glimpse into why it is so hard sometimes to be creative. And I would like to share a little story. It's about this here. Each and every situation in your life, you have the decision either to go the known path and drive down the road you already know, the well-worn path, or you go on the sidetrack probably, right? And go into an unknown territory, try something new. That is, as a matter of fact, the first step you always have to do if you want to do something new and try to develop new technology, for example. But why is it so hard? And the answer actually lies within us. We all have this so-called status quo bias, actually. So as humans, we always prefer the known over the unknown. And why is that? When you go back in time, right, and you imagine yourself in the jungle, right? You go through the jungle and you see probably an unknown but tasty-looking fruit, or you see probably an unknown animal. And your choice was then always, or you had to do this decision, either to eat that unknown tasty-looking fruit, or you don't eat it, or you probably try to pet that unknown animal, even though you don't know if it's probably dangerous and eating you after getting pet by you. So that's always the question, or the decision you have to do. And you can imagine probably that those people who had this like fear of the unknown and probably ran away from that tiger probably, or didn't eat that fruit, they survived. Other people who might eat that fruit probably died because it was poisonous, or at least got ill. So going that into the evolution up to today, you can imagine that this probably fear of the unknown is like a survival mechanism inside of us. So we all have this fear of the unknown, even though we don't know it, and we're most of the time not aware of it. And the same actually applies today. There's research out there that shows that when managers are confronted with 10 ideas, if they are not aware of the status quo bias, they are not aware and train their creative muscle, they typically decide for the ideas that are more known, so less creative ones, without even knowing. And there's a lot of other research out there. So that's the challenge. We are all falling victim to our own status quo bias, without knowing. Getting a little bit more technical here, when you're creative actually, you always have this. Some people might know that, the double diamond from design thinking, right? That's just one diamond. But typically you start with a problem, right? A challenge, whatever topic it is, that's on the left side. And then you usually do the so-called divergent thinking. So you start broadening up your perspective, you generate a lot of different ideas, you break up with patterns, you generate diverse perspective. Divergent thinking, then you have probably 100 ideas, and then you come back, and that's called convergent thinking. You come back, and you converge back to one single last idea you're going to decide for to develop it further, right? That's how we go. And what we can see from research, but also from practice and from our experience, is that we're typically not using the full potential here, because we're converging actually too early. We don't use the full divergent potential here. And that is also due to the fact that we're all falling victim to our status quo bias, what I just explained. A lot of other reasons why we do that, and that's what we found out at Siemens. That's also proven by research, and that's what we decided to tackle. And to say, okay, there might be a situation where we just need a quick fix, right? A simple answer to a problem. Then you don't need to use the full potential here, of course, in the full divergent space, right? Then you just, I don't know, generate a single idea, you just execute on it, that's it. But being confronted with our challenges of today, call it sustainability, whatever, climate change, we're having so much complex challenges out there, so many complex challenges out there, that we definitely need more of this divergent space to solve the challenges with technology, with whatever. So that's what I would say one of the core aims of what we're trying to do with this perspective into creativity. And that brings me already to the end and to an invitation to all of you. So we're not only doing that with Siemens, but also beyond. And we're not doing it alone, obviously, but we're doing it with you guys together in collaboration. And of course, that's just a very small glimpse into creativity as the number one ability to drive innovation forward. But you're more than invited to check out our website. It's called creativity-lab.xyz, and approach us, get in touch with us, and probably there's potential to work together and collaborate in the future. Thank you very much for your attention.